we go.
All right, great. So let me encourage everybody, go ahead and find us at YouTube, dtitrader.com/youtube.com. Get
Yep.
in on the live train and trade presentation, which is up right now. Just gonna go ahead and say good morning to our YouTube guest. Good to see everybody there. And let's go ahead and move through our slides here. When you join us on that YouTube site, dtitrader.com/youtube.com, make sure to subscribe to get the updates of when we're coming online. Of course, click that thumbs up on the live stream and videos, and by all means, participate in the chat there. We'd love to talk to you guys as we go through this. I'm sitting in that live chat right now. I see Wendy in there as well. We got a few others coming in. B. Jones, great to see you. And of course, all our crowd in Zoom. Now, we are going to be talking about markets today, so we have to make this risk disclaimer. There is a very high degree of risk involved in trading. You and you alone will be responsible for the decisions you make. Make sure that you take the time to figure out if that's the decision you actually want to do. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. And, well, that just about sums that up. Now, news is pretty much the same news we've been looking at for a little bit of time here. Of course, we do have tomorrow is the PPI and FOMC. Crude on the May contract opened at 93.42 last night, trading up to an overnight high of 97.65. Looking at crude prices right now, I'm seeing 93.55. So right around the open, just a little bit above the open. Now we get that PPI number. That is the next inflation report. We saw on CPI the numbers really weren't that bad. PCE pretty much the same thing. So, or at least pretty much unchanged. We'll see how that moves over. We are again trading in the June contract for our equity futures and also the May contract on crude now. So we've had a few of these futures contracts roll through. Key levels here, 69.11 quarter is the FTD high, 68.20 the high of the month, and the S&P futures did rally up to 68.0850 earlier today on RB3. We've done a good job of staying above 67.1875, the FTD low, and the low of the month currently 65.8450. So those are all the big numbers. I'm going to bring in Tom Busby at this point and say good morning, Tom. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I think it's important to reemphasize your success is going to depend on your discipline. I'll just give you a personal experience. This morning, I was getting ready to buy the QQQ, and my number to buy it was 605 30 or above. It went up to 22, and I had my hand on the mouse. I was about to click, and then I backed away, said, no, didn't fit, didn't fit. And then I look at it and I say, boy, I'm glad I didn't buy it because the option I was going to buy is down 30 cents from where I was going to buy it. So you've got to have discipline and you have to have a trading process. Mine, quite honestly, is fairly tested over the years. I always have a trigger number. I always have a all bets off number and a general target range where I'm going to sell things, especially if I buy them. And I think that way before I even get to the actual pulling the trigger. And I just think that you ought to think about that before you make trades. What is your, where are you going to get into the trade? Where are you going to get out when you're wrong? And then where you might start taking profit on the trade if your analysis is good. I know that it's very hard to do sometimes because you got so much stuff coming at you. You get task saturated. That's one reason, if you notice, through our Sunrise, through Genesis, through Orion, through Anchor, I'm trying to take strategies I know that work and program the hard part, keeping up with it, right? And trying to program those. And so we'll cover a little bit of that today in Train and Trade.
Yeah, Tom, and you raise a good point there. A lot of traders suffer from fear of missing out, right? What used to be called FOMO. There are plenty of opportunities in the market. You don't need to take every one. Be selective in what you're looking at. And if you're not sure how to do that, well, just follow along here at the TNT channel. Tom's looking at things all day long. But I'll say this, Tom, it's not trade, 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 trade. There's a lot of analysis that goes into paying attention to the market. A lot of time spent, probably not probably, actually more time spent watching and learning from the market than actually trading it. And I think a lot of people miss that part.
Absolutely, they do. And when I was I call it a new trader, uh, I just wanted to be in. I wanted to be in. I want to be where the action is. Boy,
Yeah.
that cost me a fortune with that attitude. So now I'm a little bit more deliberate when I come out of the garage. I call it, put money at risk. So, and I think it shows up if you look at the results that we've had. And I think Pete's been with me about 10 years. Uh, realize just how effective it is to process that. Okay. Uh, anyway, I think that it'll help you. That's
Yeah,
all I'm.
definitely. So, speaking of paying attention and learning from the market, welcome to DTI's Train and Trade, Monday through Friday in the month of March at 11 a.m. Eastern. Glad you guys are able to make it here. Of course, past performance is not indicative of future results. Now, reminder, all trades in Train and Trade are tracked through T-Buzz Talk and Trade, which you can access at dtitrader.com/TNT. Hope to see you guys there. I know we've got a bunch of people in the YouTube channel right now, so uh, let you guys know about that. I'll see if I can copy that link in just a minute. We have our new options education resource, dtitrader.com/optionsedu. And of course, I would encourage you to follow that link as well. Now, you should be able to, those of you who are watching the slides, just be able to click that slide. We'll get the slides posted into this room in just a few minutes. I want to give Jonathan a little bit of time to catch up and get all the slides done before we have everybody coming in. Our ability to edit the slides diminishes as you get more people watching them. So we will get those posted to you. It'll just be an extra minute here today. Now, a couple resources that I want you to focus in on. Tom's first book, Winning the Day Trading Game, really talking about that idea of paying attention to the market, the research that goes in, and you strike when the iron's hot. You try and strike when the iron's cold. You might end up missing a few bits there. But go ahead and click that link to hear Tom on winning the day trading game. DTI white paper booklets. These are specified papers on specific topics. We encourage you to go ahead and go through that list and see what's there. Tom's YouTube page, again, I see everybody piling in there. We're getting a couple likes coming in. And once again, great to see people in there. And I'll be chatting with you guys as we go through the day. The terms you need to know because, well, trading is a profession. There is a professional language. And so if we say things like when we talk about rollover, that can be a little bit confusing. It's not a command you give your dog. There is an actual financial term here, and you can learn all about that and other terms on the important terms to know. Just go ahead and click that link. The penalty tape, whenever we get a little bit past our skis, if you will, bring yourself back to a basic level to better understand the market. Sometimes you can get a little bit of ahead of yourself, even if you've been doing this for years, even if you've been doing it for decades. So that penalty tape is a good way to ground yourself when you need grounding. Options EDU by DTI. And you can see that we've got that link posted into the Zoom room, dtitrader.com/options edu. Hope you guys visit there, learn a little bit more about the market, and then Tom's BNN interview. and we'll see how that goes as well. That being an interview, by the way, 2008, right before the financial crisis. So those of you who are thinking, "Wow, this market looks kind of dangerous," go back and review that tape because perspective is kind of important. Now, the March FTD stocks, I think Jonathan's going to come in here real quick and take a look at those for you guys. Now, let me see what happens if I click that link. There we go. Bringing these up real quick and let's see.
Yeah, Chuck, you can keep the screen. I'll just update it from my side here if that works easily.
Yeah,
Updating it
sure.
right as we speak. And let me make sure I got this on here.
Yeah, looking for those current prices coming in. I've got this on view only, which is what most of you guys see. Now, when you're looking at Jonathan look at things, you see everything live as it's going through. I wonder if I have to refresh here, Jonathan. You let me know when you got that current column up to date.
I'm having to refresh my roadmap real quick.
Okay. All right. Well, it's going to take a little while. I can tell you the S&P futures right now on the M contract, by the way. I assume that uh, is this something we just type that in? Or I can't actually fix that, but we were on the M contract there, the K contract in crude, so need to get those updated. But everything else looking pretty good. And we were on the H contract. This is all the contracts we were looking at on Friday. We'll get that all fixed up. And I see the cursor moving in there. Okay. All right. And so basically, guys, as I'm looking at this, one of the things that I'm seeing is we've got a lot of neutrality in our major markets. We're between the FTD high and the FTD low. Remember, we looked at that on our news source page 69.11 quarter, 67.1875. The same is true for the NASDAQ and the Dow. You can see how those markets are moving through. Crude, of course, on the long side. Well, we all know why. There's a little geopolitical tension, kind of a fear premium in that crude price, up at 94.46 earlier. I'm looking at it right now at 93.95, so got that going for you. The gold market is in between right now, kind of on the lower end. We've had our metals pulling back a little bit. Silver in the middle, and there you see we get the updates coming through. Current prices updated. Keep going down. USO, Tom, it's all about crude. You know, January, February, and even much of last year was about the metals market. Now we get to the, what did Jed call it? Black gold?
Oh yeah, yeah. One of the things I think this USO is like I spent last night talking to people in my futures plus. I think the USO honestly could be a great play in conjunction with crude futures, and I think that because I'll show you when we go to a live market why. But I really do believe that we've got a big opportunity. We want to take it, and those are the things that I'm looking at. USO is a is an interesting stock. Uh, if you think about it, it's been up as high as 124. Did y'all know that USO's been up as high as 124? One of the things we're going to do today is take crude futures and give you an equivalent price to USO, sort of a numbers ladder, Chuck. Okay. In other words,
Yes.
if crude went to 93, where would USO stock go? Right.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're going to do that as part of the live trading. We got a big plan today. So I hope everybody hangs in here, learns some stuff.
All right, and let's see if we keep going through this list. Let's scroll down a little bit. We're looking for the long or short tags, and crude and USO are the ones that are long. And then we keep going down the list. And Tom, I'm seeing a lot of no tags. Well, here we come down to one of your favorite stocks, Micron, giving you that long signal. We're above the FTD high, 417.61, trading up at 457 at the moment. We
Yeah,
got
and let me just tell people, Micro, I traded it today, and I traded it. If you go back and Chuck, where was my trigger number on this? On I think I put it in TNT today. Where was my trigger number?
Yeah, Micron, 455.55.
Yeah, so you're up a couple $100, 457 right now. But one of the things about Micro, if you'll remind me, I'll give you some insights to how to trade it when we go live. I'm gonna write it down. Hopefully I'll remember. I get caught up sometimes. Insights for Micro. This is a very lucrative stock, and I think that everybody here needs to know these insights because then they can take advantage of them when these events set up.
All right. If we keep going down the list, so we got Micron, STX, and then WDC all pushing that long button, and then come down to another one of your favorite stocks, Tom, Palantir, 155.73 versus the FTD high at 154.52. And let me do a quick check here. Just looking, I think Palantir 155.55 was the number you were looking at. So really encroaching on that at the moment.
Yep.
And that seems to be it. So it's Palantir, Micron, STX, WDC, and then a lot of crude related information.
Yeah, and one of the things I notice that small accounts stay out of trades because they go like Sean just posted $37.50 for one contract. Well, there's other ways to trade it, Sean, with a lot less money. We'll talk about that too when we go live.
Yeah, and Dex pointing out that we've got earnings coming up, and of course the build up to earnings and then after earnings, that's certainly something that you can look at and adapt into the way you approach your portfolio. All right, let me see if we can get back to our slides here. We got those March FTD stocks. And Tom, we're going to be talking about automated analysis at DTI here today.
Yeah, what I wanted to do, we have spent considerable dollars, time, and effort trying to take the burden off yours truly and give you a unbiased view of what the DTI approach says to do. And I wanted to go through these because the value that we charge for these is nowhere close to what it takes to keep it up and make it happen. But you ought to be using these. Let's just go through how they work and everything. Well, I guess to start with, you've heard the early bird gets the worm, right? So I developed sunrise signals because I wanted to give you an early look at where to make money.
Yeah, and this just
hold on, Chuck, let me finish.
Okay.
To wait till everybody else gets out of bed, I want you to have the necessary numbers that will help you make money. Now, Chuck, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say this one of many programs. So let's get into talking about sunrise signals here. Each day you'll get the full sunrise signal experience. And this is, by the way, through the Telegram channel. So hope you guys keep up with that. Right inside the Telegram channel, meaning you'll never have to search for alerts. They come up. Now, it is private. It's members only Telegram. So you do have to be signed in. But you'll be getting early alerts. I think what is it, Tom? About 10 after 7 and then 10 after 8 and continuing throughout the day. So early morning market here starting 8 a.m.
The way I think about sunrise, this is a analysis of the RB pre-market one, which is RBX, in conjunction with RB3. And that's a very heavy time for me personally doing this thing and trying to get organized. and I wanted to have the work done that I could glance at one screen and know the answer. And that's what the beautiful thing about Sunrise. About 10 after 10, it's a pretty easy way to make money. From that stand, nothing's easy, but it's a pretty good, easy way to have the right information to make money. That's a better way of saying it.
Definitely. And going through here this morning, Sunrise painted the tape green for the stock indexes and red for crude. You see that list coming right in there. And
okay, let's talk
yeah.
about what that tells you. Let's say you had several shorts in your account, okay? What I would do when I see that, it gives me a heads up to go look at those shorts, see how they're holding up, because I'm going to exit those shorts if the major trend is higher. Does everybody understand the power of that? Also, notice that NVIDIA is bearish, which tells me that NVIDIA sort of shot its high yesterday at 188 and has pulled back and consolidated. So I lay off NVIDIA. So 2 ways I've saved money today. I covered the shorts I had in my account, number one. And number two, I said, I'm not going to waste my time looking at NVIDIA today because it's in that zone of correction. That is so important when you're trying to figure out things. And very clearly, it's gone to TQQ as a buy. Carol loved this. Going to TQQ as a buy, not being long SQQ. And you had that information, and Chuck, they had that information early on the day. Doesn't everybody like to start their day on the right side? Everybody see that? Now, Peg says, so we're exiting the pocket puts now. No, that's not what I said, Peg. The pocket puts strategy is to having as long as the VIX is above 20. VIX futures. Peg, where's the VIX futures? I don't have to keep saying this if you know what I'm looking at. What's the VIX futures? Slash VX is how you find out. It's 22. Is that above 20? Or is that below 20? No, I'm not going to get out of my pocket puts. But even though I might have something else that I'm short that I'd step aside, maybe a GoDaddy or Airbnb, I would step aside and cut out before it got worse. Does everybody understand the savings that happens knowing this information? You got to understand that. Okay.
All right, so Tom, let's go ahead and go through, look at what happened to the market after we got that report. So big moves up. You can see the S&P rallying up to the RB3 high. But importantly, look back at where RBX is right down here. That's amazing. That high was 67.51, and you had a big explosive move followed by a little move, another big move, and then you get into RB3 and the market goes up and makes a high of the week. So
let's stop there. You've got to show people how valuable it is by telling how they can apply it. What could you have bought right then above that reading? TQQ. You could have bought TQQ, or you could have bought the micro. You'd have made 40, 50 points on the micro. Does anybody like to make that kind of money? Okay, I just want to show it. Look at crude oil. Maybe you shorted crude oil.
Yeah, you can definitely see a lot of opportunities, and you can see the timing on this, which I think is extremely important. There's a reason, Tom, that you focused on reference price X, because it does give you a lead into the day, and you can see it crystal clear right here on that S&P chart.
Okay.
And
this is where Chuck makes this posting. The market pushed an overnight high of 67.15, but was able to climb back to RBX 67.51. We need to change that to make sure it's June. That's using March numbers. But anyway, it gives you the numbers, an update, all the stuff you need to know before you put your money at risk. The automatic analysis is so important. All right, keep going.
Yeah, so just a couple things here. We're looking at the market queuing up. This was on that sunrise signal, and delayed rally will be looking to challenge the previous day's high, 67.84.75. You saw that follow through in the chart. First must get through 59 and listed all the numbers up there. And we, of course, went even further than that. So if you've got the market setting up like this, where it just lines everything up for you, you obviously want to pay attention to it. And that's what we were calling out this morning, what the RBX was showing us. So then it's time to signal an options trade during the cash market. And this is what was posted, Tom, in the sunrise signal.
Yeah, so what does that do for you? Let's say you get all bullish, you're all hyped up. It's telling you, don't do it. Anyway, I love the sunrise signal if you use it. Anybody here use sunrise like I just showed you? We did a lot of work to give you a head start with this analysis. And if you use it, it's going to help your bottom line, which is what you're trying to do, right? Anyway, give me a yes if you use sunrise. I don't see how many people's actually using it. I haven't seen anybody post a yes. Have you, Chuck?
Well, we
Carol's got
coming
it.
up.
Roz
Yeah,
has got it. I'm seeing some yeses now. Okay.
they're coming in, and Sean asks, yes, those are 30-minute bars that we're showing on the charts.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's keep running here. We got a lot of information to cover.
Okay, keep going.
All right. So let's
Anyway,
see.
if you want sunrise, we have a special price today. You can go to dtitrader.com/sunrise and get it if you don't have it. The next one that we're going to cover is what, Jonathan? What's the next automated one we're going to do? Genesis, okay, good. All right, so put sunrise back up there. Let's take a 4-minute or 5-minute break and pause. I want this to sink in just how valuable. If you're losing money, here's the reason. You need sunrise to get you on the right side. Nothing's better to start off every day on the right side. It will do it. And also, I guess the icing on the cake, you get a trade there, if you got one.
All right, Tom, got a 5-minute countdown clock sitting up there.
I didn't want to take 5. I want to take 3 or 4. That's okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, by the time we get it straightened out, 5 minutes will be 4 minutes.
Okay.
Meanwhile, while we're looking at this 4-minute countdown, make sure you jump over to youtube.com or dtitrader.com/YouTube. Click like and subscribe. And while you're at it, go visit dtitrader.com/sunrise.
Donna's saying, not trying to be impatient, but will somebody post the copy of the slides? I know y'all do it once, but you got people joining at all times. You got to do that quite frequently. Wendy needs it too, and I know she's been here.
Tom, I'll post a slide in just a few minutes. There's so much information we're covering today that I'm finishing up the, finishing touches right now. We'll get them posted, and thanks for asking for them. It reminds us to post them, but for this morning specifically, give me another few minutes and I'll get them posted, and then from there on out, I'll post them, throughout the session.
Yeah, okay. But that explained it. I got it with Jonathan this morning. I said, look, I'm very frustrated when I talk to people and I find out we got these great ways for them to make money and they're not using it. I said, we're going to take the time today and train and trade and go through this where you'll get to see it and maybe say, hey, That's what I need. I get up early and I don't know what the hell to do. But guess what? When that sun comes up, you'll know what to do. Follow what sunrise tells you. You know what I like about it? It keeps your feet on the ground. Your feet on the ground. Look, I once, when I started DTI, I'll tell a story, just take about 2 minutes. The guy that gave me the idea, he was a doctor out of California. And he said, Tom, you really need to teach people. You need to teach people what you know about the market. I said, man, I'm trading. I don't want to deal with people. This was maybe 8 to 10 years after the crash, maybe 97, 98. Jim said to me, he said, you ought to teach people. I said, Jim, he called me every day. He had paid $5,000 for something, and really the guy wasn't even trading. He just wrote, he captured everything off the internet, and you could look at it and tell he wasn't a real trader, but if a novice would get caught in stuff like that. And so I said, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Finally, he said to me, Tom, you're always trying to improve, right? I said, yes. I said, Jim, if you told me it was raining outside and used an umbrella, and I went outside and it wasn't raining and I used the umbrella and came back in and made money trading, I'd go outside every day with that umbrella. I would do anything to learn how to do this. My passion for doing this was so great after 1987. But anyway, he said it'll make you a better trader. Boy, was he right. Teaching people has turned out to be one of the highlights of my career. And I've had a pretty good career doing other things, but the point is getting to know you and teach you and see what I would say, the progress by teaching. And it's not a process you're going to get in one swell, but it's something that you really need to dedicate yourself to, because you're not going to make that money like you did to get it. You better learn how to keep it, and you better learn how to grow it, because cost doesn't go down, if that makes any sense. So that's my story.
Perfect timing too, because that's the timer done. So the sun has risen, and it's time to move on to the Genesis. Genesis bar just starting to form here.
Now, Genesis is a smart algo. This is what I discovered after many years of work, that there's a U.S. market that I was missing because I was caught up in what everybody else was caught up in. And because of that, I turned out, this happened at a futures class over in Nocatee. Peter Blair was in that class. That's when I first met Peter. He came in for a class. That stuck out because Peter's a great student of mine. But anyway, we talked futures. And I said, guys, here's something. Jeff Smith was there. Jonathan was there. I said, this is something big. Let's call it Genesis. So we used it in futures for about 6 months to a year, and then developed it. After about a year and a half, it was just too much to keep up with. I said, let's put all the stuff that we've learned in Genesis and create a smart algo to do the work for us. And that's where this came about. It was Genesis, this time frame, about 12 o'clock in the day. It gives you the entry price, the profit target, the stop loss, and it tells you exactly how to do what you need to do. Anyway, that's something that we did. Every day it scans through the biggest, most liquid stocks out there: SPY, QQQ, IWM, GLD, USO. But at 12 o'clock, what we found out, this is when you start seeing the real move money, or the money that moves on Wall Street. Now, a lot of people will give you other things like unusual trade volume, high volume, and all that. This is when you got to pay attention to that kind of detail. It marks the high and low about 4 or 5 days in a market, and you base off RB3 looking at Genesis, because most days you don't have a breakout. Most days you have what I would call is movement, and you can make advantage off that movement if you know about Genesis. So if Genesis is heading lower coming into the day after being higher, odds are if it's going to turn around, the time frame it's going to turn around is this day in the current market. Does everybody understand that concept? Take RB3 to frame it. You're coming down from RB3. You would expect if it's going to turn around, it should turn around during this time frame. And Genesis takes in where we opened last night, where it's trading, all the stuff that went into sunrises and everything else to get you in the right direction. That's what it does. That's very valuable to traders, especially in California.
Now, Tom, when we look at that and we see that most days we don't see a breakout, but when we do, it's certainly time to trade, because if you see something that happens rarely, or not rarely, but not every often, it really is setting something up. So each trade, ticker, entry price, stop, profit target, all the details, bullish or bearish, and all this comes out on the Genesis Telegram window. You can see the Genesis algo posting up an alert here looking at GLD, and big solid move on that. So telling the market story, as you said, for the next 72 hours. And don't miss the next Genesis breakout, which, by the way, Tom, is coming up in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's I think you could use Genesis for a lot of trading decisions. This time of day is important, and I would implore you to pay attention to it. If not, you're going to have a lot of losses on the books that you don't have to have because of this analysis. Again, click that link. Go there if you want it. This time, Chuck, 3 minutes. Give them 3 minutes if they want to get it. I can't imagine anybody that's heard me talk that listens to me wouldn't have it.
Okay, and Jonathan is starting that timer for you right now. I will say, Tom, the Genesis bar, I think, is probably one of the biggest things about trading, and this is something that we've looked at for a long time. That timing, that European cash market close, how the market reacts afterwards, fully dominated by the U.S. markets. This is, I think, one of the prettier moves of the day when it does occur. Now, we know that we've got news items that we have to account for. There's a lot going on in the market, but this time frame is very important to our understanding of the afternoon.
Yeah, this is something that people tell me that after they grasp the concept of time and trading, their results go up. Anyway, I think that's good. Any questions about Genesis? Yeah, he posted the slides in there, phone. He posted it in there.
Yeah, I'll post the slides again. Thanks everybody for your patience this morning. We got the slides ready to rock and roll now. And technology is a beautiful thing. But slides are ready, so everybody can access the slides now. We don't have to worry about overload on the slide deck. I'll post them again later on in the session. Let me post the 2 links so far. We've covered 2 of our automated systems, Sunrise, Signals. You can go to dtitwitter.com/sunrise. And for Genesis, you can go to dtitwitter.com/Genesis. Be back in 30 seconds. Tom, we're ramping up the speed at which these automated systems work, and that's a good segue here to the next one that's really focused in on trading the QQQ, which I know everybody loves to do, trade the QQQ.
Yeah, the QQQ, this ought to be titled How to Trade the QQQ for Dummies. And I say that I trade the QQQ probably as much as I trade anything. It's a real outside of the futures and stuff, but I'm just telling you, it works knowing a few things about it and integrating that into our system, which is what we've done, pretty special. So if you like trading QQQ, you love our next automated system. It's called Orion. Now, we had a tremendous success, and I don't want to take anything away from the one ticker, other than the fact a lot of research to get the answer. And I took the success of one ticker, combined a little taste of Genesis, and said, let's develop Orion. My goal with Orion was it could be called a wake up to you if you're going along, because it's very current and it scans the market using our method for bullish or bearish opportunities in either direction using the QQQ. Now, how many of you like trading the QQQ? Let me ask the no way. How many's ever traded the QQQ with me, T-Bus? And the success you've had is off the charts, right? I can't remember the last time that I put you into a QQQ trade. Now, I probably did, but I mean, when I go to QQQ, I think that I'm thinking I'm about to take somebody's money with the QQQ. So I wanted to have the research to do it at any time throughout the trading day, okay? And scanning all this stuff, it's like a mini Tom Busby the way it does it. We're very proud of it. It's new. A lot of people don't have it yet, but it's pretty clear also. It starts with a dashboard giving you numbers which frame the market. Anybody ever heard me talk about framing the market? Well, Orion does that for you, okay? And, it tells you that today we came in a little bullish, okay? All right. When it's time to trade, it will automatically signal us to go in. Let's look at a few recent examples. There's a trade that we did on a short entry. That had to be right. I don't know what happened, but that had to be right. In a traffic jam, it told you where to get in, what to do, okay? And the dashboard is very similar to the anchor trades. We sort of learned what you like because people tell us, we really like that dashboard from Anchor. So we incorporated that in Orion. We kept the price of the option Okay. It's pretty good stuff. $28, $24. Now I'm going to tell you, I don't know. This is something that once people get into it, they listen to the master cash, it opens their eyes to how to make money. That's the way I think of Orion. It's given 3 minutes to decide if they want to add it to their portfolio of tools.
All right, getting the 3-minute timer up once again.
And everybody got the link, right? Now, Wendy, you're new. Is this helping you be going through these detailed automated analysis and execution systems that we put together? Is this helping you, Wendy? Because I know you're new and been very happy to be with us. You know, Wendy used to pop in here for about 20 minutes and leave. Then she said, why am I leaving? I'm at the right spot. Doesn't leave anymore. After we get warmed up, it really gets good to be in train and trade. You can do credit spreads with it. And we'll put that in as a master class. I use it all the time. Sean, one ticker is manually operated by me, and you might get 1 or 2 trades max in a week. Some weeks you don't get. With Orion, you get set up just about every day, Tuesday through Friday. It's for the active trader, that's for sure. And the expiration dates are a lot different too. All right, let's go to the last automated system we're going to talk about today. Is Anchor. And I look at Anchor as a diversification from the other 3. Now, here's something I have to share with you. When we built it, I thought you might get 1 trade a week, but it would definitely pay for itself. People would have it. But Anchor deals in the bond market, specifically TLT. And TLT is you wouldn't think it'd be in a trading stock, but we developed 5 reasons why everybody ought to have this for diversification. They designed to work at all different type of market conditions. In other words, you don't get that much movement in TLT, but I've got a little secret I'm going to tell you at the end of these 5. Okay. Historical accuracy, 4 out of 5, 80%. Matches it perfect. That gives you confidence because it's just a numbers game then, right? The mitigation of losses, that's a big thing traders have trouble with, but with Anchor, it's automated with you because you know exactly where you got to let it go when it doesn't work. If you're a new option trader, there's no better way to start than with Anchor because you're going to start out with success, which will motivate you to learn other things. These are not day trades. The average cost is about $82 per contract. But here's the big secret with Anchor. Okay? I like buying wholesale, I could say it, and selling retail. And an example of that would be if you got an in-the-money option that's worth 85 cents, days before expiration, they have 3 expirations a week, and I could buy it at 70 cents, and TLT, which only moves about the ATR of TLT only like 0.7, then the odds are what's going to happen? I'm going to make money by sleeping with the TLT. And so that's the secret there. You're buying wholesale. The next day, you automatically get the appreciation for the real price of TLT in the option app. Let me give you an example. Follow me. You bought an 89.90 call, and the stock is at 89.90, right, on the call. You pay 70 cents for it. The next day, you got a built-in profit. All it's got to do is hang in that zone, and the next morning, you go in and cover and make your money. Don't you love that? That's what I love about it. Simple, straightforward. And then what I did a master class where you can trade more than once a week. Small account friendly. $458 for one day, take one trade, 80% success. It's working at diversification bonds. You've heard diversify yourself between stock and bond. This does it for you on a daily basis. $12.05, the update comes to Anchor. It will tell you what the odds are of a trade, but you want to focus in on those 2 numbers there and the reference bar. This is what I did during the masterclass, so people can use it later on. This is only good on that 12 o'clock posting, and it gives you a window the way it's set up. Do the trade the next hour, but I do it a lot off. Okay. There's an example of selling an Anchor, buying a put, selling the put, 2 days to expiration. The limit was to get out at 97. You're wrong at 39. So it cuts the loss for you where you're not sitting there worrying about things. You like consistency and stability, Anchor's for you. Now, this price, $445, was based on doing 1 trade per week. With my master class, it takes it up where everything else is, $9.97. So if you want this price, take it today, because I'm going to reevaluate the price once we tie in and change the upgrade programming, because this thing is so valuable, worth a lot more than $445. That's per year, by the way. That's per year. So claim your membership. Now we're going to take a 10-minute break and we're going to come back and go into live trading and what the market's telling us today. Has this been helpful to everybody, what I've done by taking the time today and going through this in this hour? And I think what we're going to do, I'm going to think about it. We're going to try to have Chuck do a weekly review of the automatic systems on Friday to make sure everybody's getting their full value out of anything they got with these automatics. Okay? I'll get with Chuck. We'll see if we can get that worked out maybe for the month of April. Friday. My big deal is we got it, we got to use it. And I know a lot of people get sidetracked with a bunch of BS, and I'm trying to keep you focused. So we'll be back in 8 minutes. Jonathan will get me something cold to drink now.
All right, folks, I'm going to repost all 4 links that we've covered so far. Sunrise signals, dtitwitter.com/sunrise. Genesis alerts, dtitwitter.com/Genesis. We just finished the Genesis reference bar. Orion trade alerts, dtitwitter.com/Orion. And finally, Anchor Trades, dtitwitter.com/Anchor. Let's go live. I'm going to show a live market, and when Tom comes back, he's going to cover the live market. What's happening? All right. Reference bar 3 this morning, you can see on my chart is blue. $68.08 is the high. That's the high of the day. Came from reference bar 3 this morning. Pulled back into Genesis, reference bar Y, and the low there is 67.67. I think that's pretty close to the midpoint of the day. Let me add the midpoint. Yeah, midpoint down at 67.62. So we've pulled back into the midpoint. Now the question is, will they go back and test the highs? In order to do that, they've got to get above the Genesis reference bar, which is 67.85. So, 4 numbers.
Hey, Jonathan,
Hey, Tom.
boy, oh boy, a lot of people dropped off, didn't they?
Sure looks like it. So maybe one of our other guys started at noon or something. I'm not sure, but thank you for being here. The folks that are here got 4 key numbers in the market there that'll help you trade the rest of the day in the chat. 68.
Yeah, let's stop. Hey, Jonathan, let's stop and resend the thing out that I'm live here, okay?
I will ask Adam to do that, and I'm going to put up another timer. How much timer do you want?
We can keep going. It's just, I'm just saying it's going, and I think we're going to have to start doing that because I think what happens is that's just too many people, you know, it's just too many people.
There you go, Kevin. Appreciate it, Kevin.
You got that right, Rob. But I'm about to cover some stuff that I don't want to have to recover. All right. So first of all, let's just look at the market itself. Your high was what was your high there? 68.08.
Yes, sir. 68.08. Hey, look at Kevin. Tom, Kevin wrote it, really explains it in perfect detail, and I'll hand it back over to you. I reposted what Kevin just wrote. That's why we're all here. Learn Tom's methodology, which is fantastic.
Well, if you take where we opened last night, 67.52. So the question everybody is going to have, I think, if I'm looking at the market, is the rally over? How many people had that question? Is the rally over? Well, I think you ought to have a measurement number. You got to have a measurement number as a trader. And for me, that number on E-mini is 67.45. So what does that do if Jonathan gave you a number there, 67.85, which is Genesis, right? And if we get above Genesis, then I think we could have a good finish to the day. And that's what I'd be looking for. Okay. Now, if you break 67.45, you got to sort of change your tune. That's what you got to do. That's on the E-mini. Go to NASDAQ. If you look at the NASDAQ, it's not as weak, I don't believe, as the E-mini. And where's that high of the white bar, Jonathan? That's what I'd be looking for, that number. What number is that?
25,029. 25,029.
Yeah. And the high of the current bar is what?
Well, the high of the current bar forming is 25,000 even, actually. 25,000 even.
Okay. Now jump over to the QQQ. What's the high of the QQQ? Or Genesis?
So the Genesis bar high is 603.88 on the QQQ. 603.88.
Okay. Set an alert there for me, Jonathan. Set an alert.
603.88 QQQ.
Yep. Let's look at crude oil.
Crude oil now on the May 2026 contract.
I'll be right back.
Okay, folks, let me post the slides again in case you're just tuning in or don't want to scroll so far up. A lot of chat today, and appreciate everybody chiming in. There's a slide deck. Here's the 4 automated telegram systems we've posted so far: Sunrise, Genesis, Orion, and Anchor. There are 4 key numbers on the S&P futures we're looking at. 6808 is the high, 6785, 6762, or 85 is the Genesis bar high. 6762 is today's midpoint, and Tom's pivot today is 6745. That happens to be the midpoint of the month as well, if you're curious.
All right, I'm back. I'm going to do something, Jonathan, to reward everybody that's here. We're going to make a demonstrated live trade before 1 o'clock. So hang in here with me, okay? Everybody follow what I'm doing, okay? Everybody got that? I'm going to pay you to be here. You like that? Being paid to be here? I figured out something big time that I'm going to change. And you're going to be rewarded because I figured it out, okay? But we're gonna make some money together. All right, so crude oil. What's that low there, Jonathan? 93.83.
Yeah, and that came from the reference bar 3 this morning, 93.83.
93.83. Set an alert there. Set an alert also at the low of Genesis.
That number is 94.05.
Yeah, set an alert there. Okay? All right. I'll just tell you up front, what we're going to trade is either USO or the QQQ. And let's look at the SPY real quick. Let me see. I might want to go there. SPY. What's that low of that SPY?
The current bar low is 670.10. 670.
And Genesis high?
672.12.
Okay, set an alert on both ends of the SPY. Okay, now let's build a table with USO and crude oil.
All
The
right.
idea here is have a numbers ladder for both, Jonathan, and we'll do that using USO and using crude oil, base crude, right? Base crude.
Yeah. Yeah. Just give me a moment. I'll try to get things set up for that.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to do my best to show all this at the same time. We'll see if I can make that happen.
That'd be nice.
Battling the limitations of the old Zoom. Okay, well, I need to change the chart back to crude oil, probably. Okay, so in the background, you should see crude.
All right, let's start out with an easy way to do this for them at home, okay? Where was the opening price of crude and USO at 9:30 this morning? The opening price.
Well, I'm going to bring up the ETR page to show you that. It's under tables for all you roadmap folks. ETR today. Let me just cycle this up. So 9:30 is at the very top. So the 9:30 number would be 94.78 on crude, make futures for crude.
All right, so what I'm going to do, the opening price of crude at 9:30 was 94.78, and USO USO was at 117.42. That's the equivalent price. The market said those two were equivalent at 9:30. Now, how high did USO go today?
I'm going to right click on the ETR page and I'm going to say show the high. It looks to me like USO went up to 118.53 during the 11:30 half hour.
118.53. All right, how high did crude oil go today after 9:30?
Crude oil made its high a little bit earlier in the day on the 10 o'clock half hour, 95.56.
Okay, 95.56. Okay. Now, how low did crude oil go after 9:30?
And right click, scroll over show and toggle it over to the lows of the day for each half hour. Looks like the low in crude oil came at 93.79, which is during the current 30-minute time frame.
And the low for USO during that time period or for the day?
For the day, actually came at 11 o'clock half, or excuse me, 10:30 Eastern time half hour, 116.07.
All right, so what we've got is sort of a frame using real numbers. And if you look at what he's got printed there, the 95.56 is equivalent to 118.53, the 94.78 equivalent to 117.42, the 93.79 equivalent to 116.07. Okay? So what does this mean? It means that if we trend lower in crude futures, you can expect USO to trend lower also. Okay? Everybody get that? What I'm saying? Give me a yes if you get that. Okay. So the next stage would be to think about a put on USO. And I would do the put out about 8 to 10 days. Let's go out. John, go find me a put on USO out 10 days.
Okay, let's see.
See if you can find one around $1.
Oops, right up the wrong screen here. Hang on a second. USO out 10 days. Now you're looking to do what?
I put.
Looks like the 96 is marked as a midpoint right at $1.
All right, the 96. Okay. Now, where's the 93 put?
Oh, it must be around 75 cents because the net is midpoint of 24
Oh,
cents.
I'm liking this so much. Okay. All right, so let's buy this spread 96 and sell the 93, and let's pay a quarter. I'm liking this a lot, and therefore I'm putting the trade on right now. Anybody willing to risk 25 cents to make $3? Give me the date of expiration, 27.
March 27th. Yep.
All right, we're buying the 93. $93.90, right? That's what we do.
93.96. It's marked at a midpoint of 24 cents. So try to get in for 25 or less, I would say, if they let you, market maker let you.
$0.24.
That's the current midpoint.
I got filled 24 cents. Now, let's go back to our number scale.
Everybody had a chance to get in?
Yeah, take your time.
Has everybody had a chance to enter the order? I'll put it that way.
Yeah, don't pay over 25 cents.
Hey, Tom, let's say you get in for 25. What do you want to target on this trade?
Well, that's what I was going to do once you went over to the number. I was going to show some people something.
Gotcha. Well, let's go ahead and get this posted to the TNT channel before I forget about it. All right, back to the numbers. Yeah, it looks like just keep your limit at 25. They're trying to get you right now, so don't chase it.
Yeah, don't chase it. Miss it, you miss it.
Yeah, don't chase it. We just started a new half hour. They can jump the price of crude up a little bit before they continue their lows. So try to get filled in that.
Okay. What was Monday's low for crude? That's a question. Monday's low for crude.
Monday's low for crude. Let me just open up a chart of crude oils, title it to the swing chart. And Monday's low, that was yesterday, down to 92.93.
Okay. So here's my position. If it goes to 92.93, I'm going to take half of this trade off. I'd say 92, we'll call it 9,300. We'll take half the trade off. Okay. Somewhere in that range.
All right.
Then if I take half the trade off at that level, my ultimate target would be 92.55.
So I'm going to bring up a feature of the roadmap called the Moneymaker. We already have one labeled crude. I do need to update it to May. Oh, no, it's already May crude. Okay, cool. Must have been using it the other day. And what we want to do, I'm going to put two targets down here. 93.92, or excuse me, 92.93 is what it was, right around there, 92.90 area. The low from Monday. So that's 116. Spits out a price on USO of 116. Be about another point drop in USO. And very close behind that is 92.55. Spits out a USO price of 115. What it's doing is taking a predicted move in our benchmark market, which is crude, and reflecting what USO, the price of USO should do based on that. All right. Very cool feature of the roadmap there.
All right, I've got the delta on this, Jonathan. I got a delta 43. Is that check?
Delta is definitely not 43 unless you're looking at an outright put. The delta of our put spread is going to be considerably less than that. I got, and maybe you said delta 3. I misheard you, but that's what I got. Delta 3.
I did say 40. I was looking at something else. What is the delta?
Delta 3.
3 cents?
Yep.
Okay, so if USO drops $1, you're gonna make 3 cents every dollar, correct?
Yep. By the math.
All right, so I would set, if I had to guess where that second half should get to, 114.55. So we're talking the 25-cent option should be, I think 34 would be a good price for the second part.
Yeah. 34 should be good. They'll price them up a little more than that 3 cents.
Yeah. Put it at 34, put that in good to cancel, and we'll leave it in 3 days. Now, let's review what I did. I took a short on crude, USO, and I gave myself 3 days to hit it and only paid 24 cents for it. Everybody got that? How many people like a trade like this? Not a day trade, it's just a trade that you can take advantage of that sets up and it gives you a little toe in the water in case you look up there and crude starts having a big down day. I would say this is definitely small account friendly, wouldn't y'all? All right, Jonathan, go back if you will. Everybody understand the feature Jonathan showed you. If you want to find out information, you can change what you're looking for on the research key. Pretty good. All right, so we got the clock running on that trade. Now, Jonathan, let's go look at E-mini again and the NASDAQ futures again, live. By the way, if you're in TNT, this trade will be tracked in there. If I saw the right setup and I thought I could go for the gusto, this is the advantage of being in TNT, and we hadn't hit our second target, I could go in there, for example, if I say people see me do this, and cover the short position and just stay short the put if I got me a runner. A lot of, with the spread, you got a lot of advantage. You only got 25 cents exposure. All right, Jonathan. I think that was a good analysis. Peter, the options education is free.
Yes, it is. And if you give me a moment, Peter, I'll repost the link for you.
And I'm gonna let Jonathan review everything I did and listen and see if there's anything I need to add to what he says once he gets ready.
A quick review here. We started the day talking about our automated systems at DTI. We have 4 specifically running live right now, automated analysis at DTI. Nice little slide, by the way. Thanks, Adam, for that slide up front. First one was sunrise signals. Now, this is starting today, bright and early, before the cash market starts. With our reference bar approach early in the day for the early bird risers. It all happens in the Telegram channel. You get a big picture look that includes some key stocks just like this. It's painted the tape bullish this morning on the S&P. It said bearish on crude oil. You can see the other markets listed there too. And that's what happened. That's what it looked like. This is I took this about an hour after the cash market opened. So this picture here happened an hour and a half before the cash market opened. This was an hour after the cash market opened. So you get 2.5 hours there of seeing what happened next after it said bullish on the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, bearish on crude oil. Pretty cool stuff. We cap off the morning session. It's still in the pre-market where we give you some extra level analysis there on key numbers you should be tracking during the day. And, just a moment ago, we built the numbers ladder on crude oil. We do that for you inside the channel so you can have your notepad there in front of you, write them down for the day's trading. That somewhat look like what a signal will look like. We do trade the options in the program after the cash market opens. So if you like to trade shares in the pre-market, by all means, and then after the cash market opens, you get some recommended options signals. The link is dtitrader.com/sunrise. Again, it all takes place in the Telegram channel, dtitrader.com/sunrise. And I'm scrolling back in the Zoom chat to find that link. Then we moved on to Genesis, our next algo during the 24-hour trade day. All right, it works after the European close, which is a critical time, a very critical time during the trade day. You see the relevance of that as the live market is trading along right now. We're really searching for breakout trades where 4 out of 5 times, around there, nothing exact, but around 4 out of every 5 days, Genesis can mark the short-term low or short-term high for the day. So we watch that very, very closely each and every day. And the Genesis algo will alert us when we see a true breakout day. Remember, more days than not, it won't be a true breakout to the upside or breakdown to the downside, which means the trend that was established early in the day, if Genesis signals, odds are pretty high that that trend is going to continue into the afternoon. Yeah, you don't get very many days during the entire year where the trend is just bullish, 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 bullish all day long, or bearish, the opposite side, all day long. Most of the time, we're trading up to a high and then trading back, or trading down and then trading back up. But the Genesis algo Telegram channel, that's what it's focused on, finding those true breakout days. And you can go to dtitrader.com/Genesis to get involved with that Telegram channel. And I should add, all of these have master classes, several hours of master classes that you can go through and learn about the indicator, learn about the method, and then, start using it right off the bat. We then went on to Orion, Tom's newest Telegram channel here, where it's all about trading the QQQ. Looking for setups in the QQQ. Average returns about 24, 25%, sometimes greater. than that. Of course, not every trade is going to be a winner. That goes for all of these. But if you enjoy trading QQQ, you're going to love Orion. Link for that is dtitrader.com/Orion. And finally, we went through Anchor Trades, which is properly named because it's really steady as she goes. This is a great program, especially for those that are new to trading options. You're not really interested in trading the real quick moves. This is nothing quick. This is get in. It's very steady. No day trades. Trading TLT, trading bonds. Very stable market. Vast majority of the time. You can go to dtitrader.com/anchor for that one. All right, now folks, what do all these automated systems have in common? Why do they all work is the question we pose here as we finish up the very last section of today's training trade. Quite lengthy, by the way, and we appreciate everybody still being here. All of these automated systems work because they follow the DTI reference bar approach. And we showed this chart yesterday, we'll show it again, but what other system do you know that maps out the 24-hour market as clearly, visually speaking here, as this chart does here, and as the reference bars do on a day in and day out basis? I would argue that there's not any other system that maps it out as clearly as reference bars. All right.
Man after my own heart there.
Well, when you see it, you see it.
Well, that's the thing. So many people in this industry talk about moving averages and this particular chart pattern and all that. But what I'm interested in that work for me is the numbers. And you got to deal with emotions. There's just so many things. Not that charts are all bad. It's just that at the end of the day, to take all emotions out of it, if you've got a number in your process, you're going to make a decision if it goes to that number. Think about it. How many people think about when they hit the buy button, well, I bought it because this chart said buy it, as opposed to I bought it at this price? Think about that just from a common sense standpoint. Never made sense to me how Wall Street live and die by charts, but the numbers are what count. If you think about that, that's pretty, that's a roundabout way of saying, follow this method. If I want to be long-term, am I going to go long-term on that RB3 there? If I'm going to buy something on long-term, looking at RB3, give me a yes or no, looking at that chart. If I look at something I'm about to buy and RB3 looks that way, would I be buying something long-term? No. I might, if I was going to buy it, I'd buy it off RB4. Look at RB4. That's where you'd buy it if you're going to buy something long-term. Use these reference bars even for swing and other things when they set up. I guarantee you it's a lot more pleasurable. How many people like to get into a trade, and I call it a Cadillac trade, okay? And I said, it just sails right along the way it's supposed to, right? Following the RB. Sean, look beyond the chart and think. If that was IBM and I didn't buy it at RB3 at 10 in the morning and bought IBM later on in the day at 2 o'clock, I got a better odds of getting in at a lower price. Give me that, Sean. Forget all that mess in your head and learn the right way. Absolutely. Now, we're not just about automation. It's far from that. I love automation, but I want to talk about T-Buzz Talk and Trade. We call it T&T. Every morning starting about 5, I'm searching, me, for something to put my money in. Same way you wake up, whenever you wake up, you're probably looking for some place to place your bets, correct? Is that true? Yes or no? What were my ideas? NVIDIA, no trade, it's 182. Palantir, 155. I'd have to go check the reference bar, but Palantir, last time I looked, was approaching that. Let me check it. That's a key number on Palantir. I'm going to check the heck up because I might want to. Yeah, 156. That's a play. QQQ, 602.55. The QQQ is 603.55. Yeah, I'm long. I'd be long. XRP, 1811. Check XRP out. Not yet. Okay. That's XRP. MU at 455. It's at 455. Sort of stalled there. But at 2 o'clock, be something I look at. Now, do you know how to make money on a $3+ move if you don't want to buy those stocks? This is where Delta comes into play. You got less money out there if you go Delta 10 than you do if you go Delta 50. So you can do it with options. Delta 30, yeah, sort of a mid-road play. All right, let's keep moving. I usually trade both the stock and the option.
Yeah, to showcase the share trading, we mentioned this the other day. I just wanted to show it again, Tom. This was that Micron move. Your pivot or your trigger that day was 410.55 and went all the way up to 429, which was about a $19 move.
It was like a scholarship for the year on 100 shares or 2 deltas. And you go, how many shares would it take to earn a scholarship on that day with MU? 19-point move, 10 shares. Can everybody here, let me ask that question. Can everybody here invest 10 shares if they had the reliability you have with me? Give me a yes if you can invest 10 shares if you get that kind of insight. Okay. A lot of people. Good. Adds up. About 2,000 total in margin to do it in a margin account. That makes a pretty strong argument. You get that every day. Trading options after could have paid the aggressive trader faster. Out 14 days expiration, you paid $10 for a 470 call, paid you $200 on that move from the opening to the high. Every day there's a technique you can use to take advantage of the information I give you. If you want to do it, we call it the Magic 5. Now let me give you some additional reasons to be involved in T-Buzz Talk and Trade. My daily pivot, on that day it was 66.75. Today it's 66.45. I give the main targets on each day, 68.11 and 67.40. What was our high today?
68.08.
How close? How would you like to know that stuff? I hit my targets I'm not going to say 100% of the time, but generally speaking, it's close to 95 plus. So pay attention when I in TNT when I post the money maker. I focus on, is this rally for real this morning? I said above 67.85. That's on a closing basis. VIX futures below 20 confirms that we're going a lot higher. The VIX right now, I got to tell you, is 2240. It's not there yet. And we're trading 67.78 intraday. Now, this is what I came up with years ago to make things simple. People say they love my trade ticket. This is how you can find it real quick in the Telegram channel if there's a trade there to talk about, okay? Bill's got it. I use this also inside TNT. If I'm out and about, I'll go to TNT because I got Chuck and Jonathan posting key information. It's sort of like a trading laboratory in there. You can go find out great information throughout the day. Real-time news if it affects the market. But that's what Chuck posts right there. Those numbers tell me, like from RB2 in Europe to RB3, that frame what I'm looking at when each day starts by putting 2 and 3 together. If you want to join, go to dtitrader.com/TNT, call 904-706-3532. If you join today, you get the rest of this month, no charge, and it's $200 a month. And I did something else, Jonathan. What else did I do other day? I'll make the same offer, what I did. Anybody remember what I said the other day? I know I gave into the start of the month. I thought I did something else.
Oh, you said the rest of March is on the house on DTI.
Yeah, I did that.
Start till April. Yep.
And I got some big news. I'm working on doing the Magic 5 analysis, not only in the morning, but on RB4. That's what I'm working on. We're to be automatically delivered to you on RB4. Y'all like that if you're in TNT? Is that a big bonus coming? Or once we finish RB4, you got a analysis of where we're headed and maybe a trade or two. I'm working on that. Don't have it done yet, but if you join, you won't pay to increase prices, and I'll grandfather you in at this price. I can do that. That's big, folks. It's coming. So get joined. Thank you for being with me today. I will tell you, what's tomorrow, Jonathan?
Tomorrow is Wednesday, March 18th, Fed Day.
Okay. I think what we're going to do, and we'll do this the rest of the March, Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're going to go from 11 to 1 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think people got a lot out of this, Jonathan, and they get more value by seeing some of the new people get more value, and they know not to be a hopscotcher. Know what I'm saying? I think you got a lot out of the day, so I think we're going to do Tuesday and Thursday, a 2-hour session for the rest of March. So plan your day accordingly. Because if you like what you got today with that free money, not free yet, but the money that you're going to make, if I'm right, which again, there's 4 out of 5 chances I will be, we're going to do it. All right. So, Jonathan, when's the next time we go live today?
And 30 minutes for live trading with T-Buzz.
Live trading 30. Okay. Thank you.
Folks, we're not going to play a stream today because I got to get the other room open, but thanks again for being here. Really enjoyed the session. So much information covered. Let me post the links one more time. And then you heard Tom Tuesday and Thursday for the rest of the month. Kind of like a mini marathon day every Tuesday and Thursday. And train and trade. So enjoy the rest of your day. Remember, Fed Day is tomorrow. We are working through Fed week and we're working through rollover week as well. So Tom, enjoyed it. See you at 1:30.
Okay. Thanks.